Hey guys, it's me Linh Đan again, and not going to make any excuse for why I'm late. Let's just get to the video. But first, I have to say that I have no information of what's bad about Canadian. Surprise, because the internet believes that Canadians are perfect. Like, they are not perfect, like everyone's not perfect. They must have their own flaws, but the internet does not believe me, and let's just say that I have hard time. So I have to change the title from good things and bad things about Canadians into weird things about Canadians and Canada. Some of them about Canada. So let's just get into it. So the first thing is Canadians are like surprisingly and somehow annoyingly polite. Like we all know the jokes like Canadians will hold the door for you even if you're like 10 meters away, and even if you like forgot to hold the door for them, they would feel like a bit left out, and they will always hold the door for you even if you're a stranger. I mean, I don't have anything against it, it's just that it is a bit weird. This could be both considered good and bad, because let's be real, if someone is like a bit like being a bit too polite to you, high chance he or she is going to kidnap you, or at least like ask you for some money, because let's be real, everyone does that for a reason. And the next things about Canadians is they always start with the word A. I mean, that seems to be the story, and there happens to be like a few reasons why they say A so much. I mean, they use it as a statement of opinion, of fact, or like to question. Like example, what are we doing now, A? I don't know. And sometimes they even use it to tell a story, like then being the narrative. For example, I just went to this house, and it was pretty fun, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend Canadians or anything, but I watch a lot of YouTubers who are Canadians, and they always say, A? A. Like, what the thing? So the next thing that is weird about Canadians, that what's the thing with poutine and hockey? Like, at first I didn't know what poutine was, but Canadian seems to be so over, so I Google it, and it turns out to be fries with ketchup and cheese curd on the top. Like, I've tried all three of them, and I can say that if we combine them together, it would taste pretty weird. I don't know the thing about Canadians and their obsession towards poutine, but it's just weird. I mean, the dish itself looks weird, but I don't know. I haven't like officially tried it yet. Who knows? Maybe in the future I will fall in love with that dish. And the next thing is about hockey. Now you know Canadians and hockey. They're like America's basketball. But surprise, hockey isn't Canadian. It isn't Canada's national sport. It is actually lacrosse. Did I spell that right? It's actually lacrosse. It's a First Nations game, and I was surprised myself that hockey isn't like Canada's national game, a national sport, because hello. And I haven't heard of lacrosse for like my entire life, so I was pretty confused of hearing it. Really weird though. And the next thing is Canada has a queen. Like, what the hell? When I saw this on the internet, I was like, what? So who's Justin Trudeau? Turns out the Queen of Canada is Queen Elizabeth II. Yes, it's pretty weird. The relationship between Canada and Queen Elizabeth II is pretty confusing to like many people and to Canadians themselves. So it turns out that even though Canada is an independent country, and they were granted their independence on July the 1st. I think it was about 1867. Yes, 1867. But let's just say that the parliamentary system of it is based on the Westminster system, which is made in Britain. So let's just say that it has a lot of influences from England. Like I've said before in a video that Canada in general have a lot of influence from Europe. That's why they have a prime minister. So let's just say that if anyone asks you, so does Canada have a queen? Yes, Queen Elizabeth II. And the next thing that I find super weird about Canada is that why is the milk sold in bags? And I'm like, what? Like milks are not sold in bottles in bags? What? That's just weird. Like I don't know what's that thing. Like I know that Canadians love their plastic. I know they do, but milk sold in plastic bag, please. Vietnamese have problems with their own plastic bags, so let's not ignore this fact because it is so weird in my opinion. And now the next thing is Canadians always say sorry. And I know they're being polite, but they say sorry even if you have done nothing wrong. They say sorry even if you're just like helping them because they thought that they are bothering you. And I'm going to be honest, I really don't like this because it's like guilt trip. Like I was trying to help you, I was trying to be nice, but you guilt trip me into thinking that probably I made you feel something. It's just not good for both sides. So for the love of God, let's be all friendly together and let's not have any negative thoughts that anyone is disturbing anyone. Okay? Okay. We have all heard like those weird things about Canadians being polite, but seriously for me, I don't find that like really weird. And now to a shocking fact. It's about the prostitution laws in Canada. So here's the thing. The purchase of sexual services are criminalized, but the selling of sexual service are like legal. So that basically means prostitutes are allowed to work in any kind of environment they want, but we are not allowed to like buy any kind of sexual services. And I'm like, what? So how do they make money again? So why don't we just like forbidden both of them? It would be better because that just doesn't make any sense. It's true. Believe me. Oh, but just believe me. And for the next things is, I'm a bit surprised that even though they love poutine and milk being sold in bag thing, they consume more mac and cheese than any other countries in the entire planet. Like, holy God, the amount of mac and cheese they consume every year is traumatizing. And the next fact is going to be cool. Like, Canadians and Americans, they're like neighbors. America's like that one neighbor who's being really noisy but friendly, but kind of like noisy. Like those jock guys, but not on the bad side. And Canadians are like those friendly neighbor who always apologize for their noisy neighbors and for themselves. Like, I'm not saying Americans are rude, but it's true. But it turns out that America has tried to invade Canada twice. And I'm like, wow, twice, cool. Both of the time is they've tried to invade Canada twice in 1775 and 1812. And even in America even had this weird rules that Canadians are like, they're allowed to become they are allowed to be one of America's state whenever they want. It's always open. Weird. I don't know how they could get along that well. Just weird. Super weird. And in Canada, let's just say that they are freaking cold. Like, it's winter every time. In Game of Thrones what they say, winter is finally here? Oh no. In Canada, it has always been there. And the record for the lowest temperature was actually recorded in Canada. It was in Snack and it was negative 63 degrees. And I'm like, how could they live there? How? Like, how? Oh, and there's another weird thing. free healthcare, and I'm like, yes, free healthcare. And there's this other thing I've heard, like a story about all the doctors being well paid in Canada. Like they had a campaign to ask they're asked not to be like how to say, and I mean they ask not to be given like a raise because they think that it is not fair for other employees and other patients. And I'm like, wow, damn, that's good. And like the free healthcare in Canada, that already sounds like the gold. It sounds so awesome. And how do I say this? Canadians, Canada, it has a lot of chip flavors, and sometimes I'm like, how do you distinguish them? Because some of them sounds like the same. Really though. Really though. So I think that's all for the weird things about Canada's and Canadian in general video. I know this is like a really short video, and you always expect more information, but how do I say this? The internet does not agree with me. The information is like too much, and most of them you already know. So, but don't worry. There are 3 more videos coming.